does anybody in when you've got everybody sitting there at 7-6 or 8-5. Think about this. Instead of listing all the teams that are 7-6 or better, that's all of them. There are only 4 teams in the AFC that are not playing for a playoff spot over the next 3 weeks of the season. That's it. There are 4 2-11 teams in the AFC. Oakland, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and the Jets. That's it. Everybody else is 7-6 or better. So that's kind of crazy that there are only 4 teams in the AFC who are not competing for a playoff spot over the final stretch of the season. Not the same to be said over in the NFC, although over there, some interesting races too. You've got Philly and Dallas coming down to a 3-game sprint for the East over there. You've got Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay, with that win last night, they almost let it go. They maintain their 1-game lead over Detroit there. You've got the South, which right now you've got 2 5-8 teams leading that division. And then here's Carolina, 4-8-1, a half a game back. That tie may end up, man, I'm telling you, that tie may end up winning the South for Carolina and the North for Cincinnati. If those teams play out the way it might. Think about it. That half a game might make the difference. And then you've got Arizona, Seattle, and on the outside looking in, but probably looking out, San Francisco there in the West. So there's still a lot of battle to be done all over the NFL for the next 3 games.
Yeah, and, I spoke to somebody with a nice little Facebook chat this weekend as the late games were concluding. And this is a guy who's been on the inside for well over a quarter of a century. And, he pretty much told me 2 things. He said, you could tell we're in December. Woody Johnson has removed all of the snacks in the coach's lounge at the Atlantic Health Center. Bill Belichick has once again put his February vacation plans on hold. And you just don't know what team is going to show up week to week in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniforms.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see what team shows up this week in the Cleveland Browns uniform with their new quarterback. It'll be very interesting. Yeah, I see Ron on Twitter. Marvin Lewis threw down the gauntlet. Will the Browns answer? We'll see about that coming up this weekend, and we got a lot of previews coming your way later on in the week. Dr. Football, my man, Bill Chickus, thank you so much, as always, for joining us every Tuesday here on the Sports Fix, talking Browns and NFL. Next Tuesday, you and I will talk for the first time about the first start of Johnny Football.
Yeah, no question. And, again, shout out to all the guys in the chat room, and thanks for Ron holding down the Twitter feed. And, J-Rock, you got some dedicated fans. I know there was a guy a couple of months ago that called in and was giving you some sour grapes. I wonder where he is right now.
Oh, don't worry about that. I don't pay attention to that, man. Come on, there's a lot of people that go in both directions. But, yeah, we do have a lot of listeners that go out of their way to help the show, support the show, promote the show. Seriously, when I say it, I say it all the time, man. We only got as far as we got because you guys took us there. It wasn't me. It was, I got the car, but you guys are the engine of the Sports Fix. But you're right, man. I got a good crew over there. Nothing says you got a good thing going than when the audience is the one that does the work for you, and that's
and let me just finish one thing. If you look at some of the post-game press conferences this Sunday, I never saw a worse bunch of long faces, especially Harbaugh's comments after the Raven game. He just looked like the guy that just flushed his entire life down the toilet.
Dr. Football, Bill Chickus, thank you so much. As always, we'll catch up with you next Tuesday, and we will break down the debut of number 2.
Yep. All right, J-Rock, you be good.
You got it. My man, Dr. Football. You guys can tweet with them as always at Ask Dr. Football, Ask DR Football on Twitter. Let's take a break. Come back. I'm going to open the phones, 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Phones are open. Talk a little bit more about the Browns here, Cavaliers last night, and so much more as we wrap things up. Final segment of the Sports Fix coming your way next after this.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Throwing you the best sports commentary in town. The Sports Fix.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. Real time spent making real decisions, creating real victory.
I'm the greatest man in the world!
And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize.
I mean, a really real prize.
Yeah. Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs.
The trophy's 12 feet high, and it is glorious!
Football, baseball, hoops, you name it, they have it. Plus, they have awesome draft kits and party supplies to make all your preseason activities the envy of everyone. If your league needs a ring, belt, or trophy, or you want to upgrade what you already have, there's literally only one place to go. If you're going to be a fantasy jock, do it right.
It's mine, the most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine.
With America's Fantasy Sports Superstore, FantasyJocks.com.
What's your fantasy?
No football? No problem at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. The excitement never stops. Every day of the week brings a different set of food and amazing drink specials.
And now,
fans, Harry Buffalo North Olmsted is the home for every UFC pay-per-view live on the big screens.
let's get it all!
And let's not forget their mouth-watering trademark, the Bison Burger.
They sure are good.
Nobody does bison like Harry Buffalo. The perfect combination of healthy and delicious.
Hey there, eat up, y'all. You's as good church-going folk. Y'all deserve a little treat.
What are you waiting for? Get to Harry Buffalo, just outside Great Northern Mall today. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Hey, this is Alonzo G. You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix Live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you, and our social media is just blowing up and down here. All comments all over the place. We'll read some more of them here throughout the week. Just left, right, up, down, indifferent about the Browns and the quarterback change, Johnny Manziel. Some people still dead set against it. Which, I mean, at this point, your argument, and I get it because I'm with this one, is strictly anti-Manziel. And I don't mean that as in being a hater. I'm with you. I don't think he's going to pawn out as well either. But that's the argument, because the other direction, the argument's not there, And trust me, I can give you a whole lot of reasons why things could work out in a different direction for the other guy in the future, but that's not what this conversation is about. Mine, it's sure not like, hey, let's turn the keys over to some kid who I don't think is going to be able to handle the job. But, that's it. When that's your number 2, that's your option. It's not like the Browns have choices here. That's the option they gave themselves if things didn't work out with Brian Hoyer. Things didn't work out with Brian Hoyer. So it is what it is, man. It's going forward, and I will remind each and every one of you guys that, it doesn't matter what your hopes were, what your wants were, what your wishes were. We all know who thought what. Everybody knows what they said at the time. Everybody knows who liked him, who didn't. Doesn't matter if you're talking about me, LG, guys in the chat room, everybody that calls, all you sitting out there, Joe Blow on the bar stool. Doesn't matter. Everybody knows where they were. Point is, at this point, number 2 is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. So go out there and do so. Go be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Go win some games. Go play some ball. Go show everybody why you got the nickname. Just go do it. Shut everybody up. That's what I do. When people question why I get the opportunity to do something, when people question why I get the things or the chances that I have, when people question me, guess what I do? I go answer those questions. I go answer those questions and shut those people up. So now, go do the same thing. Brian Hoyer had a chance to do it, and he didn't. Now you have a chance to do it. You have a chance to show everybody why they've been pissing on you all season long, and you've been sitting on the bench, and you knew you should have been playing. Well, then go do it. Go do it and shut everybody up. Be fun to watch. That's for sure. Johnny Football coming to a TV screen near you this Sunday. And but yeah, man, some people, and the reason I said that is because some of the social media reaction I'm getting is going the same direction as the people on the other side of the fence. Just like I criticized those of you that wanted number 2, that were actively rooting against Brian Hoyer, I'll say the same thing in reverse. You can't flip the script and think that that's okay. You can't sit there and say, well, this kid's not going to make it. I hope he gets hurt. You can't do that. He's the quarterback. What do you mean you hope he gets hurt? I think he's going to get hurt. I sure as hell don't hope it happens. First off, I don't hope any athlete gets hurt. When LeBron screwed over Cleveland, I didn't hope LeBron got hurt, man. I may have wished ill success on the court, but never an injury. But yeah, you don't go that way, and you don't spend every day going, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. Well, afterwards you can say that, but you can't say it right now. Go see what happens. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to spend the rest of this week looking at what may happen and talking about it and then seeing it. We ain't going to spend the rest of this week like some cats going, well, I told you this isn't going to work, so now I'm just going to bash everything about the Browns because the guy that I don't like is the quarterback now. Now, the guy that I like at quarterback is the one that wins some games. That was Brian Hoyer for a while. That stopped being Brian Hoyer. Can it be Johnny Manziel? Maybe not. Will it be somebody else? Maybe. I don't know. We find out starting this Sunday. So that's where I'm at with that. And hopefully that's where you're at with it as well. You can think what may happen all you want, but you do now have to allow it to happen. And then you can easily say, told you so. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear that once or twice from a guy like me in the future, if it happens, but I hope it doesn't, because I'd much rather say, damn, I was wrong about that one while we're winning some games. So we'll see, and we'll talk a lot more about it. We start getting downhill with football this week as we start looking forward to it. Dan Wismar is going to be here tomorrow. I know he's got some things to say. As I said, he tweeted earlier, it may be ugly, but it should be fun. We'll talk to Dan Wismar, his thoughts about that tomorrow. We've got Kendall Lewis coming up on Thursday. He's another one, definitely not in the camp of people that thinks Johnny Manziel will be successful in the NFL. Doesn't change the fact that he's the quarterback this Sunday. So we'll see what BSK's got to say about that on Thursday. We got Jonathan Knight coming up. Going to be an interesting next couple of days, opinions here on the Sports Fix, guys. But that's all coming up later, man. I want to talk about the Cavaliers. They played last night, wrapped up a sweep of a road trip. They took all 3 games on the road this past weekend, and last night wrapping it up against the Nets. And you know what? I had a lot of people asking me this morning, oh, J-Rock, where you at? I know you're going to say, do you got something to say about the guys are wearing these T-shirts and the statements and all that? Listen, do I have something to say? Yeah. I do, and I'm going to split it up into 2 things. Number 1, I don't have anything to say about any specific situations, period. That has nothing